We had the Russian hacker for a while, who paid to get it verified. So enjoy that.
I can't believe that.
That's
it makes
crazy.
me really happy. Why does my camera keep doing this?
All right, so sorry for that. Rundown still here, just general stuff. Let's see, did you make the change you mentioned, Mike? I know you added. Did you add yourself in there as the winner?
I don't know if you did. You give me access?
Did I give edit? I thought I give everyone edit.
I would hope so.
I didn't have it initially.
It's okay. I did all your stuff for you, dude.
You won the homegrown. You didn't add that in there. You didn't add Mike in
No.
there.
Mike Leister is right there. Right.
I just added his name in. Who won the Veterans League?
He was there the whole time. He was.
Oh, why don't I have fantasy in my app anymore?
Don't you? I think you have to go on to like
the app.
Everyone has editor. It looks like. Viewer. That's what it was.
I suppose I could have it on my phone too.
Now you have it, Mike. If you want to go in there. And...
You're talking about Mike being the homegrown. Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Well, I did correct you about the invitational, by the way.
What did I win?
What was wrong with the invitational?
Oh, that Cam beat me by 11 points. It was 1 point.
Oh, 1 point. Well, sorry. I looked at it very quickly.
I felt robbed. So I even made it in red.
Where is it?
I think that's a good point. I tried to rob you of your hard, close loss.
My glorious near miss.
Near win.
Well, I was gonna say, I don't think Christian. We were very focused on Cam and Eli, but Christian snuck in there in a really amazing way. Well, not snuck. I just feel like
Mike,
you weren't
back me up here, buddy. Come on. I'm not catching strays already.
You know what I mean. I didn't mean that mean. I was saying it nicely as a compliment.
That's really why you wanted Eli here, wasn't it?
I wanted Cam and Eli so I could just go, you guys, you both failed. Both failed.
I mean,
okay, whoops.
It was close.
Some of this social.
They literally tied. They literally tied on points.
I know.
It's like,
what do they do? I wonder.
There's some internal thing.
Yeah.
There's
Nepotism.
It's. I would hope so.
There's a weird tiebreaker. Mike, do you remember what it was?
It is who is Skylar's kid?
It wasn't team value. It was.
It was like
the biggest margin of win or something like that.
Highest score in a week or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like wild.
Yeah.
And that's how Eli.
Whoever had the highest weekly score. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I remember it used to be that the tiebreaker used to be team value.
Team value,
was the first time.
Yeah, that's what I remember too.
All right, well, got the basics up here. Just general question. This one should be pretty casual. Just kind of starting out like the beginning, just kind of fun. Might probably be pretty quick. We'll get the points for who has the highest score. So the kind of traditional, is it the guy who got the most points? Should that person be MVP or does something else matter? Just some fun little takeaways, disappointments, biggest surprises, kind of the fun one there. We'll do the quick number 2 section for the run through. Ashley, I don't know if you've got the winner of the Veterans League you can throw in there. But
probably do.
We'll do the quick rundown for that, just to kind of get things taken care of, and then we'll try to leave most of the time for the third part of the show where we're just kind of talking about game feedback. I don't know if I need to load up. I mean, not much really changed from last year, so I don't know if I need to load up any of the official info, but I can if we need it.
Eli won the Veterans League.
Eli won everything. Yes,
I know, yeah, but he won the Veterans League too.
Oh, did he? Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
that's funny. Well, he'll get promoted. So, yay, Eli! And then I think I had the home run.
Well, Wonderkin.
Win the whole league, you get promoted in Pro Row.
No matter what.
It's the only way to. What if that's the only way going forward? We're like you gotta win the whole damn thing.
Then you'll have a league full of Jeffs.
Of Eli's. So then there's the Discovery League, who
inside
I'll butcher
joke.
your name.
What's a joke?
Got that. Cool. So yeah, that's the kind of just mostly just whatever you want to talk about for that. We'll throw some questions to the audience and see what they want to get back, and then I posted in Discord a little bit earlier, so I'll see what people say there as well. So we'll go ahead
That's my camera
and
keep
get
moving.
started,
It's driving me crazy.
and we'll do all
It's
the
What
stuff.
the fuck is it?
center stage.
See, watch, Christian. See, as farther I lean back, the closer
Yeah.
it gets. And then
That's
I
pretty
lean
cool.
forward.
Ooh.
No, it's not. I hate it.
It's like Lord of the
You're
Rings.
listening to the MLS
I know.
Fantasy Insider,
Zooming in
bringing
and
the
out.
weekly tips,
So
tricks, and
Oh,
advice
so wait,
for
what's
the
it-
official MLS
some moves
Fantasy
like that,
game.
it just-
I'm not moving. But and yet.
it's like a face full of Ashley right there.
Hello, everyone.
It's a
Welcome
lot.
to the MLS Fantasy Insider with our pre-game, pre-show banter that I hope everyone enjoys coming in. Just the first thing you hear when you tune to the show is just like Ashley's face comes right in there. So it's
My nickname in high school.
wow. There we go, Ashley's face. That's what it is.
The
face.
Gonna be
We are so
average.
happy to have
Comes
everyone with us
right in
tonight to wrap things up for this season. Now it's been a little bit of a break. Some fun stuff happened with the playoffs. Some not fun stuff happened with the Fantasy Insider Twitter getting hacked and having to scramble to get that back. So if you saw some weird content brought to you by Russia for a little while, then that's why that happened. But figured it all out. So good things there. Social is out on Twitter X, over at Blue Sky, over at Reddit as well. Not Reddit. Wow, that's throwback. Over at Discord as well. So please do like and share and send those out there. If this is the first time you're joining us for a live stream or any of our content, welcome. We're at the very end. So you've joined at a time where you can hear us talk about how we just took, how we reacted to this season, and you can look forward for joining us in 2026. And then you can look forward even more when the whole schedule changes and flips around and things go crazy after that. So it'll be a whole lot of fun there. But thanks for joining. Please do like and subscribe if you are here. I will be getting more content next year when the season starts. So you can go ahead and get in there early to be able to get some information about Fantasy MLS when you are ready to build your team. So, all right, let's see here. Everything seems pretty good. Social's out. People are starting to join. This will be a podcast that I think many people will listen to at 2 times speed over their Thanksgiving dinners or breaks, or as they're just kind of sleeping on the couch. So good times right there.
Sleeping on the couch sounds like a male exclusive activity on Thanksgiving.
I didn't say that.
I don't know any
you
mom.
brought that up.
Any woman
Anyone
that
can
gets to
sleep on the
on the couch. anyone can, not everyone does.
I will be chasing after a 5-year-old. So that's all going to be. Okay.
All
Well,
right.
let's go ahead and get our little intro here and go from there. Hello and welcome to the MLS Fantasy Insider, our preview, or rather review, of the 2025 MLS Fantasy season. This episode is brought to you by the amazing supporters that we have for... Ashley's pointing at me because I forgot to do something. So hold on, stop. We're gonna redo that.
Hit record.
Recording
Where's
in
Gene?
progress.
Where's Gene? I blame this on Gene. Oh, nope, Gene's here.
I do too.
I didn't blame it on, I
Ah.
blamed it on Gene, and then Gene was here, so it's me. It's totally me. Let's try it again. Here we go. Hello and welcome to the MLS Fantasy Insider, our review of the 2025 MLS Fantasy season. This episode is brought to you by the fantasy community. It's because of you guys that we're here, able to do this content. You're amazing. Our Patreon supporters, our Discord members, everyone who interacts with us. It's because of you that we're able to keep this project going. I'm your host, Reid Connolly from MLSFantasyBoss.com, and tonight I'm joined by my partner in fantasy, Ashley Savage. I'd also like to welcome two very special guests with us tonight, Christian Ward and Mike Leister. How are you guys doing?
Just so
Great.
good.
Glad to be
So
here.
Mike was worried I would say his name incorrectly, and very rightfully
Fair.
so was like, here's how you say my name. Little did you know, Mike, that I did take a semester of German in college, and so I'm a little bit familiar with the EI arrangement there in the name. But I appreciate the consideration.
I appreciate that. There are many people in this country who are not familiar with the German pronunciation, so
I
I
don't
like
remember
to
much more.
put it out there give it to the world.
I can understand the thought process of why we would need to make sure I know how to pronounce something. There we go. Throw in some headphones real quick just to see if that makes everything good. Thanks everyone for joining us. This is our annual recap episode. A little bit later than intended to get the episode out there. Took a little bit of some time to recharge. Had to give some time for people to start seeing the MLS Cup playoff. Had the Twitter account hacked for a little bit, so I had to deal with that. And so fun things. Everything's back to basically normal, and we are here to just sort of decompress what happened with this fantasy season right now. And so, Ashley, do you want to give people just a kind of quick rundown of how the show's going to work tonight?
Yeah, I'd love to. After Reid and I finished our cybersecurity training, we thought it would be a good time to return to talk the 2025 season. So we're going to talk about some of our MVPs, different positions for the game in total, and the stats that go with that. We're going to shout out some of our league winners for the different MLSFI leagues and maybe the overall league. I don't know. Then my favorite part, we'll give a little bit of game feedback, some things that we hope maybe could possibly be seen in 2026 besides just the game sticking around. And then we'll take any questions from chat if they have any. And so if you are with us in chat right now or in Discord or anywhere else, if you just want to drop your biggest takeaway from this season and any wish list item that you might have, we'll get to that later in the show. But before we start on that, I'm gonna start with Christian just so everybody can kind of get their minds ready. And Reid, as always, will go last. What is a one word or short phrase that you would use to describe this season? So we'll start with Christian, who is always prepared.
I really thought about this one and had a few options. I workshopped it for about half an hour and I came up with extra crispy. I mean, that's two
I
words.
like that.
It's a short phrase.
But,
Yeah. Word or phrase. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that you absolutely still fell under those guidelines there. What about you, Mike?
Okay, good.
I bounced around a lot of things as well, and I landed on streaky.
Mm.
I
Ooh.
felt like there was a lot of not a lot of consistency this year. There was a lot of guys who got hot for a little while
Sure.
and then disappeared again.
Sure. I would use a phrase that I try to say to myself over and over again before every round and somehow still seem to disregard and wish I'd listened to, and that phrase is go with your gut. I think there were a lot of rounds this year where, especially in the beginning, trying to not play statistically because that's never been my game, but just going with your gut is something that I think we talk about a lot. And I think that this season, not necessarily more than any other season, was one where I wish I'd remembered that more. And when I did, I felt better about it. Reid?
Yeah, I thought about this one a lot as well, and I know that, of course, people who listen to the show often heard several of us, which I hope didn't sound like just bemoaning or just being grumpy, but several of us this year who in the past have done pretty well in the game struggled at various times. It just found it kind of hard to really get into the groove of the game, and so there's lots of things there. But so I ended up with just kind of slippery. Like I found the game, like I was starting to kind of feel like I got a grasp on something, it would just sort of slip out of my hands, or just the math didn't line up, or just some of the expectations didn't hit as I thought they were. And so for me, I thought it was just kind of slippery with just getting a good handle on the ebb and flow of how things were happening.
Yeah.
It occurs to me that I never even explained what extra crispy meant.
I thought it was self-explanatory. I'm sorry. Let me circle back.
Okay,
Christian.
no,
Do you want to walk
if it
us
is,
through?
it's fine.
It's
I'd
not,
rather
I'm
take
joking.
this interjection to point out Cam's phrase.
Home team.
Any idiot
any
can win.
idiot can win. I
Wrote
love that.
in the notes.
There's so many layers of like
Uh,
innuendo in that.
I think maybe he didn't say it, but I think Cam's phrase is home team always.
Oh yeah, well yeah, that
Yeah.
he broke that rule a few times.
We have
Sure.
a couple of fun comments in chat as well. From Ray sends one over. His phrase is always Captain Messi, which we'll get to that in just a second as well. And then Dan kind of takes the other side here, and his suggestion is ban Messi. So that's more of like what he wants for next year, but we'll kind of use that.
I don't think that's gonna happen, guys.
It's the back and forth. I mean, and listen, I'm pretty salty right now myself with the game the other day, but I'm still here to talk about the things.
You can't be salty at something that beautiful.
We'll see that's where you and I disagree.
Yeah.
About the beauty. So I feel like I have a
It's
lot
just
probably in
gorgeous.
common with Real Madrid fans and things at this point. So, but yeah, so
sure.
that's kind of a fun way we just wanted to get into this season as we just kind of think of, or this episode as we're thinking about some takeaways. Just kind of real quick as well. One of the conversations we always have that I'm going to lead with is who are the MVPs? And in the past we've taken votes. We did sort of the content creators did some stuff last year, and so this year I've just left it a bit more open-ended because it always tends to come down. And in chat, feel free to leave your comments if you're listening to us later. Respond to whatever social platform you wish to engage with. But it tends to come down to, is it really just the guy who gets the most points in the position as the MVP? Does that make him an MVP? So I've got a list of everyone who scored the highest in their category, and I want to run down real quick and kind of just no order, round robin, just rapid fire, whatever you guys want to do. Just speak as you feel moved. If you think the points justify this player being the MVP for his position, so we're going to do all four positions, and then an overall. And if not, who would you throw in there? And I'll just leave it open. And so chat, please do chime in. So first we're going to look at goalkeepers, and the highest scoring goalkeeper this year was Yohei Takaoka. Is he the MVP for goalkeepers?
I think so. I mean, for fantasy, yeah.
I maybe this is kind of going out there. For me, it was Kalina.
1 point difference
they
between
were
the two. So
they They were 1 point difference, but their average fantasy points per game was vastly different. Kalina was 2 and Takaoka was 6th. So I felt more of a draw to the Charlotte clean sheet, if that makes sense, aspect of Kalina.
What clean sheets?
But
Sorry.
I would not deny. What'd you say?
I asked what clean sheets for Charlotte. They were terrible this year. In defense.
He had
They
12.
were unreliable, and
He
part
had
of this
12,
game.
brother.
Okay, when you the matchups did not align with their clean sheets. Like it wasn't predictable enough, and there was a string of games
Sure,
in there.
I'll hear
where
that.
They were like, you can't touch them. You know, like you can't rely on them. So I don't know.
I
Mike, what do
think
you think?
Kalina gets to the streaky thing that I mentioned. You
Sure.
know, he had a chunk of games late summer where
Yeah.
exactly as Christian said, like he was lights out. You know, even if he wasn't getting clean sheets, he was getting 5-6 points. But then there were these big chunks of the season where it was 2s and 3s all the time. And so it's hard. I mean, I really debated that too, Ashley, but it's hard for me to call him an MVP if if he wasn't, like, Takaoka at least was consistent throughout the season.
I'll say the one thing I think that they both experienced, and stat me where I'm wrong, is I felt the most comfortable with both of them at home, and the least, and not in any way when they were away. Now, I think there's a couple away games in each conferences that they did okay, but generally Charlotte went on this crazy tear of home form. But I agree with Christian, it was a little unpredictable. Like it wasn't something you banked on, but it happened. And then I feel the same way about Vancouver. They went through a big stretch where no matter who it was, you couldn't score on them at home, probably because that turf is such garbage. But
well, and the
I don't know.
correlation
I
is
felt like they
important.
were very similar, if that makes sense, right? Takaoka got 1 more point that season and 1 more shutout than Kalina, but I agree that Kalina probably was less owned than Takaoka. But do you not think that some of that is just because of the timing, where you would always take Takaoka on the back end because Vancouver never kicked off earlier than 7:30?
The first half of their
Pacific
season
time,
was terrible. The
Yeah.
first Charlotte. So like, I don't know about you, Mike and Ashley and Reid, but like if you burn me like 17 times in a row the first 17 games, I am not
if you
going to
burn
pick
me
you for
once,
the
I'm
last
done.
17 games.
Yeah.
Okay, like they were just abysmal. Like Charlotte's clean sheets, yes, they improved. And as a good fantasy manager, you need to like start recognizing that when that starts to happen. And you do, but you're still wary. I mean, there's Takaoka standing right there and he's consistent. Do I really want to take a chance on Kalina? And that's the
Again, I think
consistency
it's
for
the
me.
time slot that makes him look like that.
No. I don't. Well, explain that.
I think it's part
maybe
of
I'll
it.
agree. Explain that to me.
I might be able to add into that because I think you and I, Ashley, may be on the same track of line here.
Oh, you mean the fallback, the switcheroo?
Yeah. For me, I do feel like Takaoka gets that MVP slot because of exactly what you're saying, Ashley. He was a reliable goalkeeper, which I know is shocking for me to say after some of the things that Vancouver has done to me. But Vancouver was a team we often looked to this year for some defensive ability. We knew that they had weird schedules because of all of the success that they were having in other competitions. And so with the time slot, he was someone who you could reliably throw in as your Aru and feel pretty good about, you know what, I don't feel like a waste. I mean, another one who had also tied Kalina with clean sheets was Lloris, who also had 12.
Right.
but got
Mhm.
30-something points less. And I always felt much more anxious if I was like a Lloris
Yeah.
goalkeeper. I don't know. I just didn't feel good about that. When I had
I
the
think the
option
form
for
wasn't there for
Takaoka.
him.
Right. When I had the option for Takaoka, I was like, yeah, I can roll with this. And so to me, that's what made him a valuable keeper.
Yeah.
Is I could set up the front end, like I could try a Kalina to see what that work. I could try a Freese, who at times, or people was a guy that we were looking at sometimes, and be like, yeah, I'll run with this guy, see what happened, and I've got Takaoka. And so I knew this would be the strangest one because there's just so much
I think
between
it's
the
like,
keepers.
what's the early kickoff and what's the late kickoff MVP when it comes to goalkeepers? Just because
And that's a
that is
great
the
point.
one
Yeah.
position you
So-
sub out
East
the
West.
most, right?
But here's another thing: the correlation between your keeper and your defenders. Like, if you're not picking Charlotte defenders,
Mhm.
you're not picking Kalina, in my mind, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
unless there's a good reason to. But I constantly had Vancouver defenders in my team.
Mhm.
Constantly. I probably more so than anybody had
Sure.
Vancouver on my team.
And Lord knows they rotated those defenders this year for injury like crazy.
Yeah, it helps to be able to, like,
20 of them to
channel,
pick from.
what's his face, who manages the team.
Yeah.
But yeah, the correlation matters, and a lot of us like to take a keeper and a defender from the same team. And if you're not comfortable, and Kalina probably got a lot of those points from saves, which tells you that he's behind a shitty defense. Like,
Sure.
Tim Ream stepped up. I mean, I think they moved him his position out wide, and stuck somebody else in there, and the defense improved. But when he was playing center back, it was just, oh my God, like all Kalina's points had to have been saves because they weren't clean sheets. So,
but that's a smart reason to pick someone, because if they hold that clean sheet on your bench in a keeper, right? He's going to get a bunch of saves because they suck, and then there's a possibility for 5 more, right?
But I would do that if everybody's clean sheet probability percentage was under 30.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And we had a few of those weeks where they were just bad. So you just pick the guy that's going to make the most saves and hope, you might get a 3, you might get a 4. But Takaoka by far, in my mind, like, Kalina doesn't even enter in the conversation for me. I don't care what his end of season points look like.
Okay.
That's how it works. Some general consensus from chat as well. Let's move on to our next position here. A bit more difference in the total points. MVP for defender by a good 40-ish points. We have
almost
Kai
50,
Wagner, almost 50 points. Kai Wagner, 209 points. After him, Christopher McVeigh with 163, and then Jordi Alba with 162. Top 3 right there. So anybody, Kai Wagner, MVP for defense.
Where did Markanich? And Freeman.
Scrolling. Freeman was 4th.
No, Freeman was 4th
in total points.
147 right there. We start getting to the one.
Markanich is deep. I kept scrolling so far.
Because he
stopped
didn't start all the games, but because we have Rosales.
He's got 125. So he's
when you're talking about a clutch player, though.
Sure.
No.
No. Yeah, you just calm down, Missy, because
fantasy viable. Clutch is not a bankable point.
But attacking fullbacks are a bankable strategy. Or
100%. 100%. It's my favorite. You know this.
Like Wagner, let's just settle this from my point of view. Wagner is 100% the MVP.
Yeah.
But debatable.
If not Wagner,
second places.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah. For me, it's one of Freeman, Markanich, and who were we just talking about? McVeigh.
Alba was one up there too.
And Alba, it's Alba, So all
Alba's
those
second for
attacking fullbacks and wingbacks are, you could even talk about Bombino you could even talk about, there are there are a few consistent attacking defenders
Mhm.
that cycled in and out of everybody's team the entire season.
One thing I'd like to bring up, because I just would like to say that I said this almost every week. I think I said this every week for the first 12 weeks. Orejano never materialized in the way that people thought he would. And it drove me crazy when he was
had a
so
few solid
expensive.
games, but
A few. But do you know, like, I mean, compared to what he produced last season and then
right.
the role in which we saw him in that Cincy team, what we thought, like the Alba and Wagner of him that we thought would be, it drove me insane. And that's not saying I never picked him up, but it was very, very rare.
I think it's a
was
Vander tax.
sure, and not to just completely switch this conversation, but to me, he was the underperformer of the expected performers of the season.
That is a later question. You are
Sorry.
jumping the gun.
Sorry.
That's
You are
right.
wait till
It
our
just-
disappointments.
As you scroll through these points, man, it pisses me off to see him. I'll limit what I have to say this time, so poor Mike can get a word in. But for me, if not
Sorry.
Wagner, it's Alba. And just on fantasy production, their defense was garbage. When I talk about garbage defense, oh my God, I don't think you could ever pick up that keeper, but he produced in that attacking wingback way. And God, sometimes as a striker, there were a couple games at the end of the season when Suarez was out that he was just a straight up Rodney Wallace style striker. So he is my number 2 of not Wagner for sure.
Yeah, I think Alba, once they switched away from Ustari and actually started committing to defense,
Yeah.
it was kind of late in the season, so there wasn't
Yeah.
much benefit
Right.
points wise for Alba. You don't take him for the shutout anyway, but
No.
a name that nobody has mentioned yet is Dante Sealy,
Yep.
who was
Yeah.
OOP.
Yeah, I was
all
trying
year.
to think of that. Yeah.
And there's a guy who you could throw in your defense and had a solid chance to score a goal every game.
Mm-hmm.
I made the mistake of I don't know what my problem with him was this year, but I just couldn't get over the roadblock of like, it's Montreal, they're not that good.
Yeah.
I don't trust him. And then
I
of
did it
course
too,
he
Mike.
would, he'd score a banger that week.
Yeah.
But Wagner, for me, one thing I noticed looking at Wagner's stats is after Gazdag got traded, Wagner's KPs shot up. I mean,
Yeah.
he went from like 4 a game to, between 8 and 12 a game. And, to me, Philly's got a good defense. And then you add in that layer on top of it. He's always got the opportunity for an assist, being on set pieces. And, so it's hard to argue against him. But yeah, I mean, I think there are guys who in another year, I think Freeman with another year under his belt next year
Mm-hmm.
could very well, be making a case for MVP.
Is he already
here,
gone?
assuming he
I think
stays
so.
in the league.
No, I think they loaned him back. Middlesbrough? Did I make this up?
That's
Yeah,
a 2026 conversation.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Right. Okay. Sorry.
No, I have to agree.
This show is going to last until January.
Yeah, we'll see. No, I think you make that great point, because I was also thinking about Sealy as well, Mike. And the thing that, like, it occurs to me that we probably need 2 types of MVPs for defenders. Sure. That like always going to be almost set and forget kind of guy of like you're getting clean sheets, you're on set pieces, you're getting the bonus points beyond just those core clean sheets, and that's Wagner. That's Wagner in spades. I think well earned at 209. Even when they were away in situations, it was like, well, I'm going to throw Wagner in there. You're 13 million. I hate that, but I still feel like you're kind of justifying that. So like I think he earns that very well. I think I'd put Freeman number 2 for me, even though the points didn't reflect that. I felt like he was always a go-to of, you felt pretty good about Orlando's shot at a clean sheet. You felt pretty good about Freeman's chances of getting some production there. And so he was a pretty easy go-to with that. But I do think Sealy is a great shout out as like a go-to MVP Aru kind of player.
Sure.
What keeps him low in like truly this is the MVP. It's just that Montreal was not keeping clean sheets. So like that bread and butter, like you've got to be getting clean sheets to really be getting anything from your defenders. And it's just this bonus if you're getting those attacking bonus points and everything. But you've got to be getting some sort of those of that number there, and that's what hurt him. There's just no consistency. 132 points, not too far off of some of these bigger guys. But I do think his OOP like you said,
definitely
Mike,
the only one from his team in like the top 30.
right. I mean that
You
definitely
know?
made him. And I've seen some shouts in there about like Ali Ahmed, and like he was whenever there was more consistency with Vancouver and some of the congestion. Like he was a guy that we were looking
That was
back
more
up
last
to
season
as
though.
well. Yeah,
Okay.
some of the consistency, but like there were reasons people were going this. So yeah, I agree with that. I like this one for that production. I do feel like defender is usually pretty representative of the true MVP because you're not really getting high in the points unless you are getting something outside of just your defensive bonuses. You're either getting the offensive benefits there or some of those passes, or if you're on set pieces, that's really where that's coming in. So I feel like that one works pretty well. Okay, moving on to midfielder. It's Evander. I don't know if I agree with that, but it's Evander. What do you all think?
I think it is.
Let's let
I
Mike
think
go
it
first.
is. Yeah, Mike. Sorry.
I
He had 285. Next was Dryer with 278, and next was Mukhtar with 274. Do top three right there.
Yeah. So I looked at all three of those guys today. Mukhtar started slow this year, I think, if I'm remembering that correctly.
For the first 3 quarters of the year.
Yes. very slow. Very slow. Took a long time to warm up. I don't know. Evander was just he was so streaky again. But he was so unpredictable. It was hard for me to have faith in him from week to week. Like games that he should have really hauled, he would just ghost. Or, and then the games that you expected, like, oh, this is a good defense, they're good at shutting down the opposing playmaker, then he'd have a brace, and it was too, like, for an MVP for me, I want a guy I can depend on a little bit more than what Evander was giving us this year. Dryer again had some games where he ghosted too, but he was. I feel
Trust
like
me,
he
I
was
know.
more likely. Yes, I know. I feel your pain on that one. But I think for me, Dryer probably edges out Evander.
Anybody disagree?
No.
Hot take. I think they're the same.
The Loon Killer, it's got to be the Loon Killer.
I think they are interchangeable in the conversation. I think that they're the same, and then I don't think anyone else touches them. You know,
can't depend on Evander. Period. You can't. Like, you couldn't even do that when he was a Timber. Like,
I mean, he was one of the hardest people to trust to start, but a name I would like to throw in there that I don't think is the MVP, but I think should be in the discussion for midfielders is Ojeda, and he was definitely had a poor, the opposite of Mukhtar, real poor end to the season, but there were, I'd say, at least 2/3 of the year that he was in my team every week, and he just really was a big contributor. But Orlando is another team where, he really, I think a lot like San Diego with Dryer, he really had to kind of do it all. I mean, there were flashes of other people, other midfielders, other strikers and stuff, but he's just such a great 10. And obviously every player we're talking about for midfield, for even considering, is a 10, right? Is some sort of a playmaker. So
Heel wasn't as good this year, but he was still consistent enough to be in a lot of teams.
Honorable mention.
Like here, B stock Mukhtar is Marcel Hartel. He had a great end of the season.
Zinkernagel.
Yeah, he was hard to trust at first, and then he turned on and he was almost automatically in everybody's team.
Yeah, also, can I just point out, because this seems like the place to do it, surprisingly hot. Have you looked at him? His picture's not good. Reid, we've got some Giroux. I'll send you some notes that I've exchanged with my friends. There's some real Giroux qualities. There's some qualities.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm talking about faces. That plays into it.
My bad.
You know, that's okay.
So
My bad.
I think Ojeda is a very interesting call, because if you look at the top four, Evander has the lowest cost of the top four midfielders. So he has the most points and the lowest cost. And as we all know, the algorithm that drove how much you had to spend on a player was dependent upon their performance as well. Ojeda is the most expensive of the top four players right there, and he's fewer than 20 points off of Evander. So to me, that speaks to a level of consistency with Ojeda kind of outperforming his 3 to 5 game average compared to Evander, who maybe was a little bit lower in hitting that 3 to 5 game average right there. Ultimately, I think I agree with your hot take, Ashley, that Evander and Dreyer were pretty interchangeable. I feel like even with my own personal frustrations with some of how Evander would show up at the time, there was always a chance that something could happen. I usually felt that Evander and Dreyer were going to be usually an auto lock into most of my teams with some of the consistency that they have. And I could go with either one of them being the MVP, but I think Ojeda is a fantastic shout, just kind of looking at the algorithm for how it was saying that even though he didn't get the most points, he did seem to have a level of consistency and outperforming the average that I think you can look at and say, like, I get it. Why you might say, like, this guy was, fantasy speaking, more consistent with getting you some of those points right there.
Pep Biel needs to be mentioned. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Ashley, to your point about the fall off at the end of the season, it wasn't just Ojeda. The entire team fell off. You know, so I think that, you know, taking that into account, you know, his consistency was key. I mean, I think I had him just about every week this season.
I would say his streaks were predictable in the sense that it was like started a tiny bit slow, boomed, and then was pretty consistently not as good. Do you know what I mean? Like it was.
Talking about Ojeda?
Like, yeah.
Well,
like I feel like you knew when to go off.
He didn't really have.
If that makes sense.
He didn't have a midfield. The first, like there were so many injuries. The first.
No,
part
I
of
know.
the
I
season
just
that,
mean.
Yeah.
I just mean his was more predictable. Does that make sense? Like we were talking about.
Yeah, through like the middle third of the season, he had to be on everybody's team.
Exactly, and then once he stopped looking like that, I think everyone knew, like, okay, we can
I like
pull back now.
Eric Evander. So like I like that.
Evander, 100%. That's who I vote for.
I like it.
That's who I vote for MVP midfield.
All right, this may be the quickest segment that we're going to have with here. Forwards. It's Messi by points. Is it Messi by every other measure?
Yes.
Messi was 340. Bowanga was 270 at number 2, and then Surge at 235. So,
but how many games did they play? How many games did Messi play? How many more points did he get in less games?
Oh, I mean,
he played 6 less games than Surge. Surge, sorry.
Sure.
You know,
pretty sure he got the highest single player score in fantasy on a week.
Yeah. I think
Didn't he get something ridiculous like 80 points or without the captain?
47.
Like he got,
was it not?
No, like maybe it wasn't 80. I'm just saying, like he got something ridiculous.
I want it to be 80 so bad. Let me look.
I mean, yeah. Regardless of personal opinions about it, I mean, there was consistency there. He's the only player ever that we have ever had the sentence uttered for if he doesn't start, but he's on the bench, I understand you still giving him the
Do you captain him?
like
Yes,
he is the
it's
only
wild.
player that we've ever talked about
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah, 100%. If so, do we? Sure. If
I
if
don't know.
not Messi,
I remember we
Then-
us talking about Vela like that.
did we
I think so. Yeah.
consistently?
Well, maybe no, not consistently, but we've
Okay.
had that conversation
Sure.
about Carlos Vela.
Maybe so
But-
I will
Sure.
get maybe we've had it about other players, but like
Yeah.
seriously, we've had it about
Yeah.
Messi. I
Oh, it's-
maintain I will
You're
die on
right.
the hill.
This is like automatic. Yes.
Yeah.
I did not support him as an MVP last year due to the lack of contribution that he had, like of minutes.
yeah,
But like more understandable this year with the full season with everything going on. So like I get it. I get it. The fewer
Yeah,
games, the
for sure.
production, the score. Any other talking points on Messi?
he's the greatest.
Okay, I will make one counterpoint here,
Excellent.
Yes.
and that is Son only played 9 games.
Fair.
If you project his stats over a full season, he would have,
Sure.
if he played, let's be conservative and say he played 30 games out of the season. 342 points, 30 goals, 13 assists.
I
So,
think next season will be
I-
great.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that it's Messi, and there's no real argument that it's not Messi. But
Right.
Will it be him next year?
Exactly. Like
Yeah, fair.
he's
Well,
you
Messi's
know,
Messi's
he's gonna
got
be
to
39.
slow down a bit,
Right.
and I don't
No.
think that's possible without him going backward in time. You know, like like he's going so slow out there that
Yeah.
Anyway, that bad joke, but
No, I liked it.
when you were just quoting those stats, I thought those are Carlos Vela numbers that you're talking about right there. That's
Yeah.
what he did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not to be all about Vela right now because he's like long gone, but
He's a free agent.
yeah, I suppose he is, isn't he?
I think
They'll
he's
sign him for like 12 hours and $12 to give him a send off this
Yeah.
year, probably. I don't know.
For sure.
But yeah, it's messy 1000%. But
Yeah.
somebody like Son, somebody like who are we talking about? Who are the candidates coming in the most likely? Like
like Mueller.
Well, Mueller isn't exactly the kind of player that is going to put those numbers up, but he is Mr. Reliable. I'm a huge
Mhm.
Thomas Mueller fan. And like,
If he can stay healthy.
he'll stay healthy. The guy is bionic. Like he's had like niggling injuries, like, oh, my
Yeah.
knee is a little bit tight, like whatever.
Sure.
Like, but like if Lewandowski came here, all right, we've aligned our whole league to Europe now, and apparently there'll be some more money in the coffers, and a little more inventory on the shelves. So let's say somebody
Sure.
like Lewandowski comes here. That is probably the only person who could possibly like challenge Messi straight up for goals. Like
Yeah.
a guy like Lewandowski, a guy like Holland even. I'm not a big Holland fan, but let's just say these guys go,
He
hey,
would.
let's go to America. Like that.
Sure.
That could happen. And I really do believe, I mean, I do believe a guy like that, Lewandowski especially, can do something like Messi-esque. But until that happens, it's going to be Messi from now until the day he retires from soccer. And hopefully he retires playing here, because there's rumors of him going back to Barcelona for, I don't know if it's a loan or what, but he got all nostalgic and he went over there and they wanted him to play again. And he's like, it's not no, you know what I mean? So
They can have him. They can have him.
All
Yeah.
right.
Well, I'm just bummed that the people we're talking about for the MLS Fantasy MVP are a bunch of European retirees who have come over here to play. So
Well,
That's a kick in the butt, but that's a different conversation for a broader thing. Do we have
okay.
any argument of Messi being the overall MVP as well?
No.
No. So final section, and we're going to move on.
Mhm.
Just for everyone to sound off of your biggest disappointment and your biggest surprise players from this season. Chat, same from you. I think you already got one of these, Ashley.
I mean, I know my biggest disappointment, but
You need to play some like game show music.
I know. I think I'm ready.
We'll get demonetized. We're not monetized anyway. We'll get strikes and get it taken away from us. That's what's going to happen if we do that.
I think I'm ready.
Go for it.
My biggest disappointment was Wilfred Zaha. He's a
Not who I expected.
Well,
That's
okay.
what
My
it is.
non-Sounders biggest disappointment was Wilfred Zaha because I have watched him play for a long time in the Prem, and he was someone that genuinely I thought would come over here and do really well. And there was so many weird, like, social media posts and interactions with fans and like just weird on-off field antics with him that it was just really disappointing. Like I said, I expected him to produce in this league and in the Eastern Conference much better than he did. And I mean, God, I think Danny Musovsky did better than he did in fantasy this year. So, that
Why are you
was a
saying that
disappointment.
like it's weird? I mean, Moose is good.
It's weird. Okay, we will talk off air.
Yeah.
My
And I will
close
win that
second,
argument.
my close second to that, I think would be on a lot of people's radars was just the LA Galaxy attack. The LA Galaxy attack, I think, was just a big disappointment. And I know they didn't have Puig. I think, we all know that. But there were streaks where it just didn't make sense why they were so poor talent-wise, like in real life and in fantasy. But I just that was a lot easier to accept in the sense that it was so consistent that they were so bad. But still, Peck had a good run for a little while. Painstill was hurt. They had so many injuries and so many like B, C names in a team that's usually more A and B, right? But Zaha and the Galaxy were the biggest disappointments to me. And then I have to be honest, my biggest surprise was Dreyer with an expansion team, a guy that, if I'm being completely honest, I had not heard of. Zaha comes in with a lot of, not necessarily like titles to show because he was a Palace kid, but Zaha came in with a lots of bigger clubs and bigger names and bigger accomplishments. And Dreyer
Big
was someone
promises,
that
too.
big promises, and Dreyer was someone that to me was relatively unknown, and he's such a joy to watch, and he just racks up those fantasy points. I mean, you'd go into halftime with him on a 3 and you'd come out the second half with a 12, right? Just from a fantasy perspective for a brand new team, and to me a guy I had no idea about before he got to this league, that was a very nice surprise when you get a new signing into the league, that at least, like I said, for me, I hadn't really heard of, and it's an all new team, which statistically doesn't do great. I mean, he was an MVP candidate. He's newcomer of the year. So that was a surprise in a good way for me.
Mike.
I'll go next and I'll be
Christian.
brief. My biggest disappointment is Miggy Almiron.
Yeah. Yeah.
My biggest surprise is Danny Musovsky. I love the kid. You guys can feel free to sell him to us.
Mike.
Actually,
Ilosky
Ilosky is fine for that. Oh, did I take Mike's? I think I took Mike's. Sorry, my bad.
You guys actually,
and then I lied.
I made a long list, thankfully, because you guys both
Good.
said. So my biggest disappointment was Daniel Gazdag. I thought for sure he was going to
It's a good one.
slot right into that Columbus
Mhm.
offense.
He was
and
always a
feast,
fraud. Okay,
and,
sorry.
yeah,
Oh,
and he
slept.
just, well, he was exposed. You know, I
Sure.
mean, he was always dependent on penalties, but
Mhm.
it just seemed like the right system for him, and it absolutely I don't know if it was the system
Yeah.
or him, but my biggest surprise was the fact that both Son and Mueller adapted to the league as quickly as they did. I mean, they're both
Yeah,
great
yeah.
players,
Great.
but
That's a great
both
one.
of those guys came right in and immediately started producing as fantasy players.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I mean, Sun and Bawanga just went supernova
Oh.
there for a while, and
So fun.
the two of them feeding off each other was just so much
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Mueller just, raising the level of everybody around him. And that
Mhm.
was really fun to see, both from a fantasy standpoint and just as a fan of the league.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great take. I absolutely love that take. For me, my biggest disappointment is the one I thought Ashley was going to say, and it was Orishano. Like I just thought should have been so much more production, so much more out of there, and it just
Yeah.
didn't work out as well. Lots of other great names I'm seeing in chat. Benteke's on here, Almiron, Latte Lathe,
Yeah.
uh, Lucho. Kind of understand Lucho though.
Yeah.
I didn't feel the same disappointment in LA Galaxy because I feel like we had so much conversation about it
They
before
were
the
the
season.
MLS Cup champions.
No,
last
I
year,
get it, and
Reid.
every
There's
and
always
like,
a dip, though,
I get it, and
Ashley.
everyone
Not
and
their wooden
I mean,
spoon, Christian.
just look like look at the thing here. Look,
I
you
know.
see it right there.
I know.
Like it doesn't always work that way. But
I
with everything
know.
they had coming in, like I think we expected it. We were like, Pooch is out long term. These people aren't
Yeah.
missing. They're like, you're not going to see anything, and then they never
Yeah.
recovered. And so I
No,
was like,
never.
well, that's unfortunate, but kind of get it. They never really had that.
Can I guess your surprise?
Yes.
Jack McGlynn.
I was going to talk about Jack McGlynn,
Okay.
actually.
Okay.
But, I mean,
You love Jack McGlynn.
Dreyer takes it.
He's on my list.
Dreyer takes it
Yeah.
overall for me because I agree with you, Ashley.
Okay.
Expansion League didn't really have him on the radar with some of the earlier content we had, and just killed it. Killed it with right up there. We were talking about MVP. So I mean, I think San Diego in general was like a huge surprise with the success they had right there out the gate, which hasn't been replicated very often with some of the other teams here. But yeah, McGlynn was another one that I feel he both was a surprise and also a disappointment because it's like the stats were there, but it never hit that consistency. So it was like, and then back to the very first comment about slippery, it's like I never quite caught it whenever it was going to be there. And so,
Yeah.
there were a couple of those guys that were really there on the bubble where we were like, man, you've got those numbers. I want you to be successful, and you're going to be this great fantasy diamond in the rough, and it didn't happen. So, then other names people are throwing in here, like Uzuni is another one that people were throwing out there as kind of a good one to go to for some of those points. So, great names right there. All right, that's kind of how we got it started. I promise this next section is going to be a little bit quicker. But before we get into it, Christian, I wanted to give you a chance to kind of plug the 2025 stats.
Oh, this is the most exciting part of the podcast, folks. I have a spreadsheet on Google Sheets.
Spreadsheet.
And yeah, I mean, you probably just clicked off the podcast just now. Anyway,
I love spreadsheets.
I've extracted all the fantasy based stats into a Google Sheet, and I've shared it. And the link is on Discord in the Toolbox channel. And it basically has every player. I didn't filter anybody out. And you can make a copy of that sheet in your own Google Drive, and then you can sort and filter at will. Yeah, that's about it. It's not
Love
really
it.
that big a deal.
I love spreadsheets. Thank you, Christian.
No, there you go. People
Yeah.
find it so much, so I wanted to make sure people knew that was out there. All right. Well, coming up next, we're going to talk about just a real quick review of who the winners are from the various MLS Fantasy Boston Network of Leagues this year. Coming up right after this. Yeah. He lied. That's fun. That's really good. Let's see.
I have to Underline it. That'll bother me.
That's okay.
AKA. Never mind. AKA if he only had just one more point in the regular season, he would have beat him.
You can start without me. I just gotta go yell at my son for 2 seconds.
Very good. I'm gonna do a quick social plug for everyone out there if they want to throw this a little. So there is.
I'm guessing the Discovery League winner is from Montreal.
Probably. So we'll do that. All right, here we go. All right, welcome back. We're talking the Champions Corner. Who won the leagues that we were talking about throughout this season right here? So first, starting with our Pro Rel leagues, start at the top with Champions League, which is one of our prize leagues. It goes to Cam. Cam was on the show at the very end. He was right there neck and neck with Eli for winning everything overall. Actually, still was neck and neck with Eli winning everything overall, but on some random whatever tiebreaker did not and got second place. But Cam takes the number 1 spot in our Pro Rel Champions League with 70 points. Right behind him in number 2 and number 3, Black and Red, one of our previous winners, and Luke Keller, both with 61 points in the league. And so they had a little tiebreaker that helped decide that. Moving on to the Veterans League is Eli Redpath, the number 1 player in the game, co-number 1 player, but number 1 by the math, I guess, in the tiebreakers. Won the Veterans League, will be getting promoted into the Champions League next year. So big congrats to Eli. Going down to our homegrown league, our very own Mike Leister right here, winner of the homegrown league, getting promoted into the Veterans League. So fun times right there. And then the winner of our Discovery League, I am so sorry for butchering your name. Balloon Porter dans las Surfac. That's not right at all. It's not right. I didn't prep it. I just threw it in there. I copy and pasted. I left a word out because I had a weird apostrophe in it. So Eric, go ahead and laugh at me. Nope, not at all. Though I did sing Alouette on the show earlier in the season. So
Cam is insisting that you say his team name.
No, Cam. Or do I have to? I don't even remember what Cam's team name was.
He says it's the law.
I saw the name and I knew it was Cam, and so I just wrote Cam. Do I have to say it?
Manu Arshapi Eng.
Up to be Willie Memo.
I have maxed up
the
butcherings of what I'm going to do. So congrats to all of the winners of the Pro Rel Leagues. Congrats to everyone who played over the offseason. I've been working on getting all that sorted out to send out from there with everyone. So fun times. The MLS Fantasy Insider hosts Invitational League. This is a huge one. Came down to 1 point difference, and it was Cam versus Christian in the final round. These do have head-to-heads. But a lot of our other leagues don't do that. We just use the whole table system. But this comes down to head-to-head. And so Christian lost to Cam.
Shakes fist
at Sky. So beware of windmills. So Cam came down with number 1. Clouds. Christian has number 2. And then our number 3 and number 4 players, Dan Wright is right there. I think is writing for Fantasy Football Scout now. They had some EPL stuff going on. But yeah, Dan Wright came in number 3. He had a tight match with Sherry Snyder, one of our longtime supporters, who lost to Dan and ends up with that number. Or I guess she didn't lose to Dan; she lost to you or Cam. But they come in number 3 and number 4 in the hosts Invitational League. So fantastic results right there. Tough league in general. Moving down to the Patreon head-to-head league, we had again Cam winning this one with 71 points as well. Christian coming in second with 70. We have Chandio, one of our frequent Discord and chat members, coming with 68. Garth Butchers with 67, and then Semi-Pros with 66 points. So I did the top 5 right there. So some really good scores right there. And then finally, our Discord Open League. It's hard to beat. This one really followed the overall table pretty closely. We have Eli and Cam coming in at number 1 and number 2 in this as well, with their 3,537 points decided by tiebreaker. So There it was. Christian came in number 4 in this league. So as always, those of you who won, who are prize eligible, you'll get some communication. I'll try to do that over the break if I can. This Thanksgiving break if I can. And as always, though, you are only eligible for one prize in the MLS Fantasy Boss network of leagues, and that will be the highest one you are eligible for. And then I'll start looking down the lists and rosters and try to help divvy those things out as well. There'll be some emails that go out to confirm that I got the right email address, because you get some MLS digital gift cards. So congrats to everyone. I hope everyone who played had a fun time, and we'll get things sorted out for next year. So fantastic. So that is who we think for MVP. That is what we wanted to share about the winners to celebrate the success right there. Next, we're going to be looking at a little bit of retrospective, a little bit into the future, into our crystal balls, and see what we think about the game feedback for this year and what we hope for 2026 coming up right after this. There we go. Appreciate the effort. Eric, I didn't know if you heard me try to butcher all that, so let me know. All right, you guys in chat, be sure to post some questions. The only thing I have right now is some feedback from Cam. So if you guys have questions, we'll take them.
Whoa, I got feedback.
Okay, well, we'll just chat about stuff. So let me get some more stuff.
I'll try to keep it short, though, because it's already 10.
That's okay.
I didn't have to go on this Lewandowski journey, and I
was happy to
apologize for
do
that.
it with you. I thought it was fun.
Mike is withholding his opinion.
No, I'm trying to think of who in the next generation of players would ever challenge Messi if they came to MLS. I guess Holland, but like,
I think Holland.
yeah,
I don't
That's-
want retirement players coming in to challenge for MLS. I want MLS to stand on its own.
But Lewandowski is like
We are doing-
mind-blowingly good.
We are doing nothing to help stand as a league and not be viewed as a retirement league. Many people
agree
in
with
charge
you.
are,
It's good
I-
soccer.
and we'll see what the drop off is once Messi leaves. Anyway, a
Sure.
different show, a different show.
That'll be a good podcast.
All right, welcome back. Our
Thank you.
final segment. Oops, ready. All right, welcome back for our final segment, talking about our game feedback for the 2025 season and looking into our crystal ball for our hopes and dreams for 2026. If you are in chat right now, let us know your questions, because we want to get your feedback as well. So let's set the stage. It's time to be constructive with our criticism, and be exciting with our speculation for what we think is going to come this year.
Christian.
Quick update though. There were no changes for this season. So the game that we got was the same game that we had last year. If that's a critique you want to have, go for it. We had the double game weeks, we had the Champions League, we had the stats the way they were, we had the price changes the way they were. Everything was the same as far as I can tell, and as far as the game was advertised. But that is the only significant change that I think we have to touch on, and that is the reduction of support from MLS for the game. Otherwise, mechanic-wise, it's all here. So if we want to talk about pricing, the bonus points, strategy, any of that is on the table. We'll just open it up. And Mike, since this is your first time on the show, we'll let you get things started.
sure. I think one of the things that has been a problem with this since the scoring changed, 2 years ago now, is just that there's not there. I feel like the chalk keeps getting chalkier, and it's going to be even worse next year when everybody has Messi and Son and Mueller. And there just needs to be some path to find the differential points. Like, is it changing the defensive, the way that defenders score, so that you're not just reliant on clean sheets? That I think that's where I'd love to see changes going forward. I found it a little frustrating this year to just see, just have to pick defenders for clean sheets. eh, and some of that goes, is just I always liked to play for bonus points mostly with my defenders before the scoring changed, and so I still find myself missing that. But just making more players viable, finding ways to expand the player pool to choose from again, because I feel like it's just getting narrower and narrower as these big guys come in who are putting up these crazy numbers.
Ashley, you want to go?
I just miss Opta. And that's a dream I think I know will just continue to be that. I would just really like to see the game continue, and I know that's like a kind of a sad like thing. I just feel like every year there's a little less and a little less and a little less, and I just want to keep playing. And so even if the stats aren't the way I like them, and it makes the game a little less individual, um I just hope that we can all continue doing it. And I would love to go back to a different stat structure. I know everyone hates it when I say this, but God, I miss second assist so much. Just because it was different and stupid. But
Yes.
yeah, I know. I hear me. I know that. I just miss it. It's the same
I'm with
reason
you.
people watch bad TV, like it's dumb, but you do it. That's how I feel about second assists, okay? But no, I'd just like to see the game get a little bit of love, and hopefully the people that already love it can continue to play it the way we like to and stuff. But um yeah, I felt like this season was kind of a copy paste of last season as far as how the stats break down. And it was a little easier to understand, I would say, this season, just because it was the same as the season before, an adjustment. But I think it was the messy aspect makes it interesting. And I think if you really look back at some of the bigger seasons, there has always been a Messi. It just wasn't to this size, right? Before Messi, we had Vela, we had Valeri, we had Josef Martinez. Like there have been people that held that card of, if you don't have that player, then you're screwed. And it's just everything else that you do. Besides that one player. So yeah, I just hope next season, maybe a little bit more love from the league, and if not, um, we can just still play.
Christian.
Well, kind of echoing what Mike said. I've been asking for this for the last 4 years. I think that the player pool is much, much too small, and it doesn't have to be. All you need to do is reward defensive midfielders for doing something. Okay. And think of that tool in your toolbox on some of these really rough, really bad matchup type of weeks, where you can rely on a defensive midfielder to get you 8 points, because they have a floor. We used to have that. I don't know why they changed from that kind of floor situation to like forgetting defensive midfielders altogether. And it wasn't because of the stats provider change. They changed away from that scoring before we got rid of Opta. But yeah, I would like to be able to increase the player pool. That is my biggest. We need more viable players. That will in turn reduce chalk. It will bring more strategy and tactics into play for everyone. And, I really think for double game weeks, especially, it'll make those um, less chalky, obviously, and like more enjoyable. Um, if we did just make just that one change, maybe you give defensive midfielders 1 point or I'm sorry, 3 points for a clean sheet, because literally they're this part of the spine, defensive spine of the team. Well, it depends on whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like for defensive actions, we should reward defensive midfielders. We should bring back bonus points for across the board. That actually makes sense. I think aerial and ground duels should be added. I know that Sport Tech does track those, and why they're not mapped into the game is beyond me. So yeah, and this comes back to like MLS committing to actually providing a good product. Yeah, making the app work. That would actually be helpful. We had some issues with logins. I know Ashley can talk about that a little more, but
Last year.
but yeah, I really think that the player pool issue is the biggest problem. It's too chalky. Like by the time you get into like the final third of the season, you have like attrition like crazy. People are quitting because they're out of it. There's no pathway to build back a good rank because there's so chalky. You can't, I mean, you have your hardtails that sneak in out of nowhere, but I mean, try to predict that, So that's pretty much all I have to say about it. Hopefully we have I think it was stated that we have a new person in charge of the direction of the fantasy gaming portion of MLS. And this person seems to be waiting for this next season to make some positive changes to the game. So hopefully that's just a rumor, but it's an insider rumor. So hopefully that actually takes shape.
Yeah, I'll my biggest one, which I touched on at the beginning of this, is the lack of league support for the game. And to Christian's point, yes, if there's somebody new, maybe this is kind of a let's just see, let's let it do its thing this year and then come start fresh from there. But there's been a gradual scale back of article content from MLS officially. Skylar's article stopped this year with the rankings, which Christian did a great job, and Isaac did great jobs of picking up that with MLS Fantasy Boss with our content. But it took it away, and so it was completely gone. It's in the app if you could find it. It wasn't really in front of anyone for eyes. It's not on the boards. It's moved to the betting and the daily, and I get it, and that's an important part of the business model in the game as well. But so is this. There are parts of me that feel like it's never taken on as much as it has with other leagues. It's different. People like draft, but it's all different. American fantasy culture is a little bit different. The daily betting is big, but it's kind of an embarrassment to not have a fantasy league. It feels like that if you're a big major sports league and you don't have a fantasy league, I don't know if there's some sort of stigma about that, because it's sometimes you're like, why didn't they just get rid of it? They're not doing anything. Is it worse to not have it? I don't know. It feels like that at sometimes. I just wish there was some visible support, even if it was engaging with the content creators that out there, because there's a few of us now that do regular, consistent, good content for fantasy that could be tapped into or at least partnered with to do something to have some visibility with it. And so I hope if there is something in the future that people are involved. I had some sort of pop up. I hope that didn't
I had
mess
a
up
few
anything.
conversations with with some people in sports marketing about this. I was asking their advice for how we can generate. So what I think we need is a title sponsor for the game, like EA Sports or whatever,
Oh,
you know,
sure.
because
Mhm.
they sponsor every major fantasy game in the world, except this one. And so I was thinking, well, why don't we just kind of do an end run around MLS? It just seems like they're unwilling to pick up the phone, you know. So I was soliciting advice as to how to best do that from some actual sports marketing people in the sport of soccer, football. So both the people I talked to said it is a money loser. Like this is something that is an add-on to a league to make it more fun, but it is an expense. It is not, never generates any revenue. It is 1000% expense. So, I mean, we can say, I wish the league would, you know, invest more into it. But that's sort of what they're doing now. I mean, by just
Yeah.
offering the game, in my opinion. I'm like Ashley, I am very, very grateful that we have the game. I very much enjoy it. It's my favorite fantasy game in the world. So, and there are tons of them out there. But I think we need to look at this more realistically than we have been in the past, which is this is not a profit center for them.
Yeah.
They're kind enough to put a game out there and pay a lot of money to a vendor, you know, to run it. And
Yeah.
so I am grateful for that. I am very grateful for that. Every year I get to come back and play this, I'm extremely grateful. Is it frustrating that you see FPL, Bundesliga Fantasy, um, um, other leagues, whatever, Ligue 1 and, you know, La Liga, they all have title sponsors. They have like thousands and thousands more, sometimes millions more people playing it. And from our perspective, it looks like we're just missing opportunities and we're dying on the vine. What the heck's going on? I totally get that. I felt that way. I still feel that way. But in reality, we just need to be grateful that this game exists.
Yeah, and I think that's a
all.
good point
That's my
too.
message.
I mean, we can say a lot of things. We definitely hope that there's engagement around this, but ultimately there are limitations around the vendor. And so we know that some of the things that we may want to see about players and stats and things, and maybe that's a vendor limitation. And so I think that we just hope that for some of the transparency, if there's the ability to learn more about what the options are, can we add more stats? Can we do different options? Can we add a chip system that does something to add that variability like you were talking about, Mike? Does it even have to be the same system? Could there be some sort of rolling pot of different chips that come up throughout the season, so it's the same for everyone, but you have that option to choose what you want to do? I don't know what the options are, and maybe it's just an establishment of some sort of like a players committee. Like you see this with a lot in some other games and things. There's passionate players who have kind of a committee who can kind of serve as a voice to the league of like, here's some representation of the players. Like, can we have some more transparency and help with this communication, something like that. But we get it. I think it was good. That's something good. I think it was good that the game was consistent because we went through a period of time where there was a lot of changes, a lot of volatility. I think it's good that there is some consistency, even in how imperfect the game is, that people can come in, know what the product is, and have a level of expectation of how that's going to play out. So I think it's good. I mean, I'd love to see one of the old scoring systems would come back with how prices change based upon your average from everybody else and not just this rolling 3 to 5 weeks. So like those are different limitations of the vendor though. So, but I think it's good that there's been consistency, and maybe the next opportunity for change is when we look at the new season schedule that's going to be coming around the corner. A couple of questions here that I just want to kind of touch on that seem kind of relevant here. people talk about fixing the budget issue. It was a fix the budget issue. It's too easy to have everyone 3 weeks in. I think that's a great comment. If there was a way to look at either price gains or price losses or just like the speed at which people change, maybe it needs to be faster for some players. Maybe there's a tier system that once you hit so many points or a certain level of ownership that maybe that impacts your pricing. Again, vendor, I don't know what limitations are, but I think like I get it. It's nice to be able to afford a lot of people, and there are even times when like you can't afford everyone you want still late in the season. But even those teams don't always end up being the best scoring teams, and so I think if that could add to the point Christian and Mike, you guys are both making differentials more valuable. Maybe some of that's just adjusting the cost algorithm.
Well, and I think also
I would like to say, go ahead, Mike.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I think finding a way for people who join mid-season, giving them an access point at, because you come in with, $100 million and everybody's way out of your price range at that point. So finding a way for those people who join late to be able to be a little bit more competitive with their budget.
Yeah.
We used to split the season in half, like that worked out.
They tried
pretty
that well. You could do it that way, giving people maybe the average value of top so many players. That would be great. I still would love there to be a landing page. It kind of gave some breakdown, a bit more information. Would be good. But yeah, that's a great point. Like having it be accessible still as well.
I would like to say that 3 weeks is an exaggeration.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say 3 weeks is an exaggeration. I'd say it was more like
true.
7. But I mean, if we're Reid, we talked about it until summer, but talked about budget.
Slippery.
Well into the. But yeah, I agree with all of this. I just think it does take a little bit of time, but it could be like a little bit like that longer. I hear it.
And then there was also a comment that talked about making decision day truly one round. I think that was really more the season structure. Yeah, I mean it does need to be one round.
It was all the makeup games.
It was the makeup games. It was the structure. Yeah. I mean it's sort of how the league was set up. So I feel like that was more just a byproduct of the schedule than really an intended game mechanic that has.
I didn't like that this year though. I agree with that.
I will say that, I mean, we did have the triple game week, and so there are some times when I think that we could be a bit more forward about, like, this is going to get excluded. We're not going to have these sorts of things. So with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fine. We just hope for more engagement, I think, is the summary next year. Let's talk about 26. We want more engagement. What else are you all hoping for 2026? In chat, let us know what you think as well. Let's start with Christian this time.
Oh gosh. I can tell you what I want less of, and that's bad weather. Something to mitigate chaos would be good. Geez. I guess we already said it. Like for 2026, I really, like, if we're talking about like the schedule changes, like what we can add on to make it exciting and stuff like that, I think just the schedule change itself will be fun to navigate. Having, like Minnesota United playing 60 away games to begin the season, never mind. It's a little dig there. God, I can't think of really anything that I haven't already said or hasn't already been said, to be quite honest.
Well, then I'll go next one to people can continue thinking. From everything that we were talking about that we didn't like, the one thing that I hope happens, the two things that I hope happens in 2026 that I want to see is I would love to see more stats implemented in from Sport Tech. Like I would love to see an expansion of the stats and the ability to filter by some more of the stats into the game. I feel like that's probably a pretty light ask for the vendor with what they have. But I would really love to see some more stats put into the game for people to see. Stretch goal would be kind of reworking the bonus point system, but just getting some more stats in the game to make sure that they're working right there. And of course, the number 2 that I'm saying is just some more visibility from that. Like, do they bring an article back? Do they at least have the pundits on Apple TV say something like, do the daily, and don't forget MLS Fantasy exists too. Like, just some kind of little bit of just like a plug for all of MLS Fantasies, or all of MLS's fantasy content. Like, just something to make things a little more visible. Those are the 2 things I really hope for 2026, which 2026 is the last regular structured game season we're going to have. 27 is when we're going to get that little mini league kind of thing, which will
The
be
mini season. I can't wait for
season.
the mini season.
It'll
I
be
hope it's
excited.
MLS is back again.
I was
think
going to
you
say
should
throwbacks to
explain that.
COVID.
Yep.
I think you should explain that real quick.
They're doing a mini season that starts the same time, February.
Yeah.
That will start at the same time, and we'll
14
we'll
games.
essentially have we'll essentially almost have a double season, right? Because it's going to
Yeah.
run into when the new global calendar will start, which is June.
It's going to start. The playoffs will be in May of last year, so it'll be like a July. No, not July.
Okay.
That's the next year.
That's
So
summer.
it's going to be a 14 game shortened transition season, which is going to start in 2027. So it's going to end in May. I don't know exactly how that works out for when it's going to start. So maybe February is when it starts. Probably it starts after the Super Bowl. We'll just assume that.
There's a huge winter break because it snows too many places and people don't build covered stadiums.
And so I don't know if this will be like, we'll have one more season of fantasy, and then we take the little season off. Maybe there's not a fantasy game during that season. Maybe they get rid of it over that season and we're done kaput for the rest of the time. Or maybe they take that time.
Out there.
I'm just talking. Or maybe they take that time to like rework it and say, hey, we're now on this schedule. Does that open us up to some more other vendors? Could we partner on with somebody else and kind of get in with a different structure? I'd hate for them to like scrap what is MLS Fantasy, because I really do think it's unique and has a lot of positives over many of the. I mean, I think it has more positives than the Fantasy Premier League game offers. I think it's a better structure. But we'll see. But yeah, that's what it's going to be. There'll be a mini season, which could have some fantasy stuff to it. I don't know. Maybe that's part of what they're going to work on with this new person for next year. Mike, 26.
So what you guys said about splitting seasons in the past got me thinking, there's this big long break for the World Cup in the middle of the 26th season.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a chance for everybody to lose momentum if it's one big season. So maybe this would be a great opportunity to try something like that. Do 2 short seasons. I think that could be fun. And maybe would give the league a chance to capitalize on the extra eyes from the World Cup, get people paying attention to MLS, get them give another avenue to get excited about the league. Hey, we're starting the second half, second mini season of our fantasy. Sign up now. That would be cool. And to your point, Reid, I think a little more visibility, even if it was just like, on the highlight show for the week, they could just flash up, who was week rank 1 that week or something, just something, anything very low lift, but just
in our opinion,
anything to promote it. Yes. Well, fair enough. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I do marketing that, for my career, and I there's some of this that seems like it would be very easy to do, but I don't know the inner workings of the league. So I don't know what their contracts are like, but
I
like
wish the teams would do what LA is doing, just flash it up on their scoreboard. I mean, that would be effective. I mean,
Cincy, Sounders, Minnesota, DC, like, reach out to us. We've got people built in, ready to.
I'll talk to Alex.
Yeah. Of course, we have
media passes.
We have an analog block, so I don't know if that'll
Sure.
work for us.
Yeah.
I mean, that really kind of touches on the last question, Cam sent over, just discussing the new schedule from a fantasy perspective, mid-season breaks, potential positive effects on league burnout. My biggest concern about the new, it makes total sense, transfer market, everything there. My biggest worry is there too much competing for eyes? Are there too many other fantasy games that people are going to want to play? Or is there too many other games on that people aren't going to be focused on? I know we have some influx of EPL people. Are they going to do both? Maybe they are going to do both. I mean, we'll see what that looks like, but there could be some overload in what people are getting with their content, and we could see a whole new structure with these like conference systems and how that works up. Maybe there are opportunities to structure our game that
Yeah.
even because we right now we are limited to the number of players from a team. Perhaps there could be limits to the number of players from a conference as well. That could be a way to include the ability for some diversity in your structure. So it'll be interesting navigating a lot of those timelines.
I think that the weather thread in Discord will become even more important as I think not that I have moved around a ton, but I think people don't understand how big our country is and how different the weather is in these seasons when we don't normally play. I know they're taking the break, but still, like, I do not want to go to a Sounders game in January. It's just, I don't want to do it. And I can't imagine what that's
Can't
like
deal with
in
60 degrees.
It's not. Oh, I'd kill for 60 degrees in January.
I'm just kidding.
But you know, I like, yeah, I just think it's going to be interesting how important weather becomes. We've already seen that a lot in the last couple seasons of just, you know, knowing when to bench someone because they might have weather or games get canceled. And I think while I think there's a lot of positives and a lot of opportunity for fantasy with that new schedule, weather I think is going to become a much bigger factor as it already was becoming kind of a bigger factor.
For sure.
Well, in the conference, the conference realignment is going to change how we see matchups.
Yep.
You know, it's going to change how we like. You're going to have more frequent matchups in conference, and then you're going to I think they're going to play everybody once outside of whatever.
Home and away, and then the one trip outside.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's gonna that will change how we think about the game. Absolutely will.
But yeah,
instead of Miami playing Orlando 6 times.
There's a lot to come. This was not a bad season by any stretch of the imagination. A lot of people had great successes. A lot of us struggled at times, but that's part of what it is. What makes it is the community. The community is still here. The community will maintain to be here, and I'm so thankful for everyone who is part of that. For the final time this year, let's wrap things up with our plugs. Mike, starting with you.
I have 2 plugs. First of all is my partner in fantasy, Ron Birnbaum, aka Half Century City, aka the Fantasy Physician. I had a ton of fun writing the fantasy strategy clinic articles with him this year, and just bouncing ideas off each other. I think personally that was really helpful for me from a fantasy standpoint because I thought more analytically about the game. And that helped me not tinker as much, which I'm a terrible. I'm so bad about that. But yeah, so shout out to Ron. And then, of course, to the MLS Fantasy Boss Discord. Just a fantastic place. You know, there's so many ups and downs throughout a fantasy season, and it's great to have a community like that to share those ups and downs with and commiserate with and celebrate your successes with. Just really nice to find your people like that.
Ashley.
Did you say Ashley?
I did.
Sorry. I'd like to shout out and do a plug for Mr. MLS Fantasy Boss. I don't think people really understand all the little things that Reid puts into this show and Discord and monitoring and delegating and all those things. And so I know I'm the pretty face, but I just really want to give a shout out to the dude behind the curtain, and I am so happy to be a part of this community and share that with him, and all these other great people that I've gotten to know and talk to and play with along the way. But I just a big plug to Reid and everything he does to keep those things running. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Speaking of the delegating part, though, Christian, who takes a big lift with a lot of the stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, but I complain too much about it. Anyway,
That's true. Reid never complains.
I'm going to follow Mike's lead and give a shout out to my partner in fantasy, Isaac Jensen, who saved my butt from like becoming extra crispy this year when he so graciously agreed to share the rankings article with me. And we're going to be back if Reid will have us next year doing the same thing. And we're both kind of excited. And I wanted to say also thank you to Mike here and Ron and allowing me to become the fantasy gastroenterologist and I also wanted to say, like, Ron kind of forces you to be more analytical about your game.
That's funny.
Like, you
He
cannot
is-
be in that
he's
guy's
good like that.
orbit without thinking about it. But anyway, and finally, the MLS Fantasy Boss Discord. I can't not plug that community. It is invaluable. It's just amazing, the people there. And thank you, Reid, for yet another wonderful season.
You guys are true that enough can't be said for the community. Everyone who's a part of it, who's a contributor to it. I mean, it means so much, and it's what keeps a lot of us going. And we're just glad that people have a space to chat about this that has maintained to be a good space for so long. But I am very excited that the lineup for the show tonight. Part of this was intentional because I know we've had different lineups in the past. But everyone on the show tonight is a contributor to this project. And Eli was going to be with us, but had a conflict, and so he wasn't able to join. But of course, Eli was writing articles for us in the season. Mike's been writing articles. Christian's been doing articles. Ashley's here with the show. So everyone on this show tonight is a contributor to the fantasy project that's been going on for 11 years now. And I want to thank you all and everyone else who's not here with us for all the time that you've put into putting the show. Wojo, who was able to do a lot with us early in the year and had to take a little step back. He's be coming back next year, I believe. And so with hope he is. There's so many people who put this together. And so I want to thank you all for what you've done and give big shout outs to that, and hope everyone is able to give a shout out to the team that's helping put this together. It's a passion project. Like, we've got the Patreon, we've got a little bit of cash flow that comes in, and it all goes back into the show for paying for the streaming and paying for the services and helping fund some of the stuff. So I mean, it all goes back in the little bit that's there to kind of keep the lights on and keep a product out there that people can enjoy and have fun. And so thank you all here for your contributions. Thank you all, everyone who is just a member of the community, for your support, for your membership, and just for being around to have fun with. So it's been a great ride. 2025 is in the books. There's still some cup stuff going on. So watch it if your team's in it. Watch it if they're not in it. With hope, I don't have to add a pink scarf to the background for next year. So we'll see how things go. But it's been a great ride. And so for the final time of 2025, as always, good luck.
Recording stopped.